Back with some more KJK VIP prize picks, WNBA and MLB player props. This one going to be breaking down the following 6-pick flex that I did just lock in, that I did just send over to my VIP members. Breaking down the exact process that goes into all of my picks, guys. If you have not signed up for prize picks, go ahead and sign up today. Use the promo code KJKDFS when you sign up. They're going to match up to $100 with my promo code and or my link down below in the description. So take advantage of that offer. Get that $100 match. Start winning some money with these free picks today. And if you're interested in getting access to every single one of my plays, as soon as I place them, the VIP is going to be where it's at, the Patreon down below. These videos are going to be a nice sneak peek as to all that goes into the process in each and every one of my picks, so you can get to know me, get to know that I know what I'm talking about, kind of see all that goes into the results. And then if you're looking to get access to everything, as soon as it's placed, all apps, prize picks, better picks, underdog fantasy, etc., there's a lot more to be offered over there. Do as much as I can for the free content, but nothing's going to beat that Discord because it's 24/7 access to myself. And I hate to say it, but there's a good likelihood that, many picks are going to get bumped and or removed by the time you see this video if you're watching it later on in the day. It's just the way these apps work when you get good value. So let's get into it. Let's get into the breakdown. The first 4 picks are going to be in the MLB streets today. And it's going to be in this game in Philadelphia. We got a 9.5 over-under in this game, 5.2 implied total for the Phillies, a 4.3 implied total for the LA Dodgers. So expected to be a pretty high-scoring game here. 2 elite offenses. No Mookie Betts for the Dodgers. He's been out for quite some time. That's the only downside, I guess. Their health is taking a bit of a hit. But, guys, we're in Philadelphia with 9 to 10 mile an hour winds blowing out to straightaway right center, 88 degrees. The ball is going to absolutely fly in this type of a game environment. We're looking at a 28.2% increase to home runs, a 17.7% increase to total runs, and a 16.6% increase to earned run average in this same game environment over a 125 game sample size. So weather can be a big deal in baseball if you're dealing with fly ball pitchers in this kind of a game environment with good lineups. Like, the ball's just going to fly out of here. We can look at the ballpark as well for Philadelphia. Once again, all 4 of the hitters we're going to discuss in this video are playing in this same game. So we can just sum it all up for you right now. Right center and right field to left-handed batters plays extremely friendly as is in Philadelphia. You can see home runs, triples, doubles, singles, average, on-base percentage, slugging, Wnba, those balls in the gap in Philly in right center, right field play great. And 2 elite offenses, man. We'll start things off with Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman on the LA Dodgers side. Wanted to be discussing their overs. They're taking on the likes of Aaron Nola. I mean, Aaron Nola is a really good pitcher. He's been one of the top names in the entire MLB for quite some time now. But with that being said, he's kind of fallen off a little bit in his later years, and most notably versus left-handed hitting on the season, guys. If we look at the LA Dodgers in the Aaron Nola matchup here, his K rate's at a 27% clip to righties. It dips down to a 20% to lefties. He's given up a 189 ISO. The ground ball, the fly ball, the hard contact underlying metrics versus lefties has been a little bit dicey. So we do want to be targeting the left-handed bats in this matchup, and like I said, it all starts with Shohei Ohtani. A couple things I'm looking at here. First of all, we're going to pull up our brand new tool here in Outlier, guys. If you have not checked out this tool, I'm going to be talking about it on the channel frequently now because it is a great data set to be taken advantage of. Not only that, but they're going to hook you up with 7 days completely free with my link down below in the description. So take advantage of that. It's free. It doesn't cost $1. You can get access to all this data that I'm going to review right now. So Shohei Ohtani is going to be the first one, right? And we're going to be talking about his fantasy score, the over 9.5 on Prizepicks. You can see over his last 10, he's hitting this at a 60% rate. Every matchup's different. Every single guy that he's taking on is going to be different. Tonight, it's going to be Aaron Nola, so we can certainly break down the matchup for Aaron Nola. How is he going to face off against Shohei Ohtani? All those splits, all of that fun stuff here in this matchup for Nola. And on the season, as far as all of that stuff is concerned, breaking down the key matchup stats here for you guys. Shohei Ohtani versus right-handed pitching on the season, rocking a 325 average, 356 BABIP, 377 ISO. These are all fantastic things. Aaron Nola versus left-handed hitting on the season. We're looking at a 3.32 ERA, 202 batting average against that, 390 slugging though, and the 47.7 extra bases hits allowed. Not ideal. And then we would break down his stuff against the left-handed hitters. He's a fastball curveball guy, essentially. So Ohtani's got that 396 weighted on base average, 36% K rate versus those curveballs. Not as ideal, but we did discuss Aaron Nola's K rate versus left-handed hitting dips down all the way down to a 20% K rate versus compared to 27 versus right-handed bats on the season. And when we go over to the fastball, the secondary stuff, For Nola, fastball sinker, Ohtani crushes both of these. He's only got a 17.9% K rate versus that fastball. 489 weighted on base average, and then we go to the sinker, same thing, all the way up to 493 weighted on base average, and all the way down to a 15.3% K rate. So it's really just the curveball that Ohtani struggles with, quote unquote. It's Ohtani. He's one of the best hitters in the entire league. And then when we look at the stolen base upside for this guy, he can swipe bags, which is going to be a big deal in the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format. We get 5 points for every one of those stolen bases. Ohtani comes in as the 5th best in the entire MLB with 22 stolen bases on the season. So Nola's been struggling more so versus left-handed hitting. We talked about the conditions in this game with the wind blowing out to right center. Really like this matchup for him. And then Freddie Freeman's going to be our second guy that we're going to discuss here, right? Because it's the same kind of scenario here when we're looking at the data sets, when we're looking at how Aaron Nola is going to, face left-handed hitting. It's just not been as good. The 390 slugging again, the 47.7 extra bases, and then the curveball. Not Ohtani. Freddie Freeman, only a 12.5% K rate, 491 weighted on base average versus that curveball. Fastball, same thing. Doesn't strike out, hits for great average. Sinker, all the way down to a 328 weighted on base average, which is, quote unquote bad for Freddie Freeman. That's still really solid stuff above 300. So yeah, you just can't strike out versus Nola. The ball can be put in play, and if it is, you're going to have success with the hard contact, which is going to be kind of the theme of this match because it's going to be the same thing on the other side of this game that we'll discuss shortly with the Phillies with Lana Knack. It's like kind of identical pitchers where the strikeout rate's up, but if they don't strike guys out, against lefties for Nola, the ball's been hit hard. Knack, it's all around. So love that. And then another resource that I'm using, guys, is the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. And if we go ahead and pull up that, once again, fantastic tool that's going to help you diagnose value on the Prizepicks board very quickly. I will have a link down below for this one. KJKDFS to get 25% off. You can see this is pulling in sportsbook data. I love looking at market data. If you're new to the channel, you can see the best possible prop on the board for Ohtani is that over 9.5 hitter fantasy score. Why is that? Because DraftKings is calculating him based on all of the data sets that they have in, right? Millions of dollars pulled in here. They're projecting him to get 10 fantasy points. BetMGM up to 9.6. We have 2 different data points saying he's on the over. Therefore, Daily Grind Fantasy calculating that a 51.18% hit rate here for Ohtani. And we can pull up Freddie Freeman as well on the DGF optimizer. And they're also telling us to go ahead and lock in the over on Freddie Freeman as the best possible prop on the board. DraftKings, millions, billions, invested. They got him at 8.1. Might not seem like a big deal. That'd be like 0.5 over for those of you that are new to this, but it is a very big deal. Trust me. These lines are set very precisely. So if you're able to get that, 5 edge, DGF doing the hard work for us, pulling in all of that data, you want to take advantage of that and lock it in. Okay, guys? So, 1, Aaron Nola struggled more versus lefties. 2, we talked about the wind blowing out. Fantastic ballpark and fantastic hitting environment. And 3, we got all of these data sets telling us to go ahead and lock in that over here. For those 2, they're on the road, so they're going to get the guaranteed top of the 9th inning at bats. And we're getting some positive correlation in this ticket, guys. Anytime that you're taking multiple hitters from the same team, it's going to be positively correlated, meaning if their team's putting up a lot of runs, all of these guys are going to be greened out because, Ohtani's getting on base, he's getting hit in by Freeman. They keep moving the lineup up and down. By the end of the game, they have 5-6 runs. There's going to be opportunities to be hitting each other in. So positive correlation is a really good thing. I'm really surprised I was able to lock this ticket in without a payout shift, honestly. Most of the time, they're going to shift your payout if you go with multiple guys from the same team. I think they're kind of letting us get away with it because of this Aaron Nola matchup, honestly. Something tells me the algorithm's like, okay, we'll let you take it in this scenario because it's a more of an elite pitcher, but as stated, doesn't bother me in this matchup for him. So those would be the first 2. We kind of broke that down, and then the next 2 are going to be Trey Turner and Bryce Harper in the same game environment. And it's really simple when it comes to Lana Knack. He's a high strikeout guy that gives up a ton of hard contact, so you want to be targeting guys that don't strike out a lot. Harper's only rocking a 19.2% K rate. Trey Turner only a 20.3% K rate. The ISO, the weighted on base average, all that stuff's fantastic. And then the hard contact is terrible for Knack on the season versus both sides, really. He's been a lot better versus lefties on the season, but over the last 30 days, it's fallen off. He's actually been better versus righties. It's really simple. He's strikeout or get hit hard guy. That's what Landon Knack is. And both these guys don't strike out. Like Kyle Schwarber at the top of the lineup has a bunch of power, but he strikes out a lot. He is available on the Prizepicks board. So when I was analyzing which guys I want to be going with, it was definitely Bryce Harper and Trey Turner for that exact reason. I don't want guys with high strikeout rates in this matchup. Kyle Schwarber can easily go out there and hit a tank tonight. Wouldn't be surprised in the least, but you get what I'm saying. It's more likely that he goes out there and strikes out like 3 times than these two guys. So they'll be the next two that we discuss here. Trey Turner, let's go ahead and pull up the data here on Outlier for you guys so we can get into the nitty-gritty of the matchup. Trey Turner, fantasy score over an 8.5 on Prizepicks. He's gone over this in 7 of his last 9 games. And as stated, he gets to take on the likes of Landon Knack. When we go ahead and kind of break down how Knack's going to fare here, like I said, Philly, overall, great lineup versus right-handed pitching. They're going to be some of the top in the entire league. Some of these rankings you can see over the last 30 days, they're 4th best in average, 6th best in on-base percentage, 6th best in weighted on-base percentage. And Landon Knack's pretty much a fastball slider guy. Break down the rates here for Trey Turner and Bryce Harper. Harper, 401 weighted on base average against that fastball. Trey Turner, 331 weighted on base average. You can see 16.9% K rate for Turner, 22.2% K rate for Bryce Harper. As stated, they're not striking out a whole ton against the fastball and/or in general. So Knack, a guy that's given up a lot of hard contact. The wind's blowing out. Once again, Philly ranks very well against right-handed pitching on the season. It's kind of like, good luck. Good luck, man. These are the batting stats up and down for the Philadelphia lineup on the right-hand side. And you're not going to see a ton of high strikeout rates. 15.4%, 27 for Schwarber, but then once you get past him, it's only 13 for Bohm, 21 for Harper, only 15 for Stott, only 18 for Turner. So it's really just Brandon Marsh, Christian Pash, and Kyle Schwarber that have high strikeout rates. And the projected lineup, I mean, it's really just going to be Marsh and Kyle Schwarber in there with the high Ks. So, hey man, I would expect Mr. Landon Knack to have some issues with this Philadelphia lineup. I would expect there to be a lot of runs scored overall in this game tonight. And then last but certainly not least, once again, I do like to use this Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer tool because of all of the millions of dollars of sportsbook data that's streamlined into it, right? So let's go ahead and see what they got here, right? Trey Turner, if we go ahead and we put him in, is everything going to match up here? Yes, over 8.5. Once again, DraftKings, millions of dollars, guys. They got him set at 9.2. Might not seem like a big deal for those of you that are new to this. Again, the 0.5 difference, like it's barely anything. That's just how these apps work. They're going to set lines very appropriately. The 0.5 edge is a big deal on these projections. And then Bryce Harper, we're going to go ahead and put him in here in the GGF Optimizer. And we're going to see that they have him projected for 9.2 over on DraftKings. So millions of dollars of sportsbook data telling us take the over on the fantasy score on the Prizepicks fantasy scoring format. The underlying metrics are looking fantastic. The weather's fantastic. The ballpark's fantastic. The lineups are fantastic. The correlation in this ticket overall is fantastic for those 4 plays. So go ahead and lock those 4 bad boys in. We got stolen base upside with Ohtani. We got stolen base upside with Trey Turner as well, which is something I didn't mention. But, I mean, Trey Turner has a bunch of wheels. He hasn't been healthy the entire season, but he's always going to be one of the top stolen base guys in the league. Comes in as the 3rd top guy on his team. But once again, he's only played 53 games compared to Bryson Stott's 86, right? Turner hasn't been healthy the whole season, so just keep that in mind. Guy has absolute wheels. He can really wheel and deal. Same thing as Ohtani. So that stolen base upside certainly goes a long way for us. Over here on Prizepicks, where we do get 5 points for the stolen bases, 2 for every hit by pitch, 2 for every base on balls, 2 for the RBIs, 2 for the runs, 10 for the home runs, 8 for the triples, 5 for the doubles, and 3 for the singles. That's how the scoring format's going to break down for those guys. And then the next 2 picks we're going to be talking about is going to be swinging on over to the WNBA action. As you can see, we're rocking with the under 17.5 points and rebounds for Cardoso and the under 23.5 points and assists for Brianna Stewart. These were the top 2 props on the entire WNBA board here on the DGF Optimizer prior to coming on this video. Let's go ahead and give it a refresh and see if that still the same case. Does look like INSQ is kind of surpassing here, but outside of that, still looking at some solid value here on the under for Breanna Stewart's points and assists, and the under for Cardoso. As a matter of fact, I'd say it's looking even better here as we're talking in real time, guys. So Cardoso's listed at 16.5 on FanDuel now, 16.5 on Bovada, 16.5 on Underdog. She has minus 140 juice on the under here on Parlay play. And then if we go down to Breanna Stewart, she's also starting to be listed at 22.5 across the board on her points and assist prop, which tells me these two props are going to get bumped down. So like this is what I'm looking at, right? The entire market's starting to shift downwards an entire point on it. Might not seem like a big deal, but it's a really big deal. If we want to get more detailed, OddsJam, another fantastic tool here, guys, that I've been scanning throughout the morning, right, to find this value on these two. Once again, if you're new to this, you might not think it's a big deal. You know, it's like one difference. You know, is she going to ball out or not? It's a very big deal, people, okay? She's all the way down to 16.5 on Underdog already. She's listed at 16.5 on FanDuel, 16.5 on Sleeper, 16.5 on Betano, which, by the way, she's barely favored to go over. It's like pretty much even money. So, yeah, the 17.5, there's very clearly a lot of edge to be had on the under here for Camila Cardoso. When you look at these data sets, and it looks like she just got bumped in real time, you can see she's at 17. Okay, Prizepicks is messing around with the line here. She was at 17, now she's at 17.5. So, like, in real time, you're seeing this shift. Like, on my screen, as you can see, this play might get bumped, which kind of stinks. If that happens, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just coming on and breaking down these plays and why I'm on them. So you can see she's at 17.0 now. I don't know if that's going to hold. It looks like she might have gotten thrown back up. But anywho, yeah, this is the reason I'm on the under. I mean, I'm looking at all this market data. She's very clearly starting to rip towards the under at 17.5. I already locked this in. And then Breanna Stewart, it was the same story. If we go to the points and assists here in the market for Breanna Stewart, we're going to see very clearly. I was on this before I came on to break this down for you guys. She's starting to go down towards 22.5. She's barely favored on the over at 22.5. We got her at 23.5 on Prizepicks. Prizepicks is it looks like the only place besides Vivid Picks where you can get her at 23.5. Minus 120, minus 133 on the over on Betano. Barely favored on the over on FanDuel. Minus 125 at the 22.5 line. So it's like getting here at 23.5 on the under is a very big deal here, especially because we're getting minus 119 implied odds in a 5 or 6 pick flex. I would expect the market to continue to rip towards under. And like I said, I mean, the DGF optimizer helped me detect this pretty quickly. I was very clearly seeing like the market starting to rip towards these unders. So that's kind of like all that goes into my process. And some of these optimizers, like she's at 52.27% hit rate here compared to the 52.5 on the under 9.5 rebounds. But when you're getting a combo prop and you're getting an entire point off, like be looking at the market and be looking at the fact that it's an entire point off here. Like it's a big deal. If you're starting to see that, like on a combo prop, like a point and assist prop, I mean, or like a PRA prop, guys, like please, use this tool and detect that and attack it as soon as you can, because it's going to change on Prizepicks. It's just how it goes. So I was able to lock those in. Top two plays on the Prizepicks Wnba board at the time. You could see the market moving in real time, as I stated, looking at OddsJam and all of these different books. So yeah, man, that's kind of the thought process. We can certainly break down on Outlier those last two plays as well for you guys, but I just want to make it known, like, that's kind of what's happening every day over in my VIP. It's just you have to be quick with it. And if we go to the prop screen here, let's go ahead and type in Camila Cardoso. Let's refresh this bad boy too, make sure I have the latest data. And we're going to see Camila Cardoso. I like to go ahead and sort this by the implied probability, which is what we just discussed. It's going to bring in all that sportsbook data for you over here on Outlier. And you can see over 16.5 points and rebounds, but we're getting in at 17.5. And I don't know if it's going to be live anymore, actually, because, yeah, right here, under 17.5 on Prizepicks. So, once again, really good stuff here. You can look at her head-to-head. She only put up 6 against the Liberty last time out. But what's intriguing is we're seeing, you can scan right here, she's at the 16.5 on FanDuel and Underdog. So the 17.5 is a big difference on Prizepicks as compared to those other matchups. And then the points allowed and the rebounds allowed, the New York Liberty have been one of the best defenses in the entire league. Like, look at this. The defensive ratings. They're third best in points allowed overall, third best in rebounds allowed, meaning they're not giving up a lot of points and they're not giving up a lot of rebounds. Cardoso is a center. So if you want to look at that specific data versus the center position, we could pull that up. You can see they're number 1 in rebounds allowed, only allowing 8 rebounds per game to opposing centers, and number 3 in points allowed, only allowing 13.6, which makes a ton of sense, right? We want to be targeting the under because the Liberty have been one of the best defensive teams. Third best in points, second best in field goal, fourth best in 2-point percentage, second best in free throws, third best in rebounds. Like, they're just a really good defense. So that's a full breakdown for you as far as Cardoso is concerned. Over her last 10, we're looking at a 50% hit rate. Over her last 5, 60%. But like I said, that head-to-head versus the Liberty last time, she literally only played, she only played 11 minutes. Her minutes have been up. But it's a brutal matchup. Long story short, people. Okay? So yeah, man, that's the full 6-pick flex here. It does look like Cardoso might have gotten bumped. I'm not sure if you're able to get this in anymore, unfortunately. Let's give this a refresh. I don't know. It looked like she was kind of bouncing around the market. Yeah, she's at 17.0 points and rebounds. So unfortunately, that got bumped live. Looks like Brianna Store at this time of recording is still available at the 23.5 line. Worst case, I gave you a 4-pick power with the correlated plays of these MLB plays. So yeah, man, that's the full 6-pick flex. Use that promo code KJKDFS and get your first deposit match up to $100. You can check out my premium content if you want to get access to all my plays as soon as I place them. You would have beat that Cardoso bump and locked in with us. And yes, sir, looking to cash in with these plays that I just gave you. Does look like we had one little bump there on Camila Cardoso. But thanks for watching, guys. Wishing you all the best of luck on your Prizepicks MLB and WNBA player props tonight. We will see you in the next one.